No, it wasn't me, it was Ignacio, he's the one. Siempre soy amigo, siempre
Shut
soy
up,
amigo
man.
del cartel.
Shut up! I just speak English.
Lalo didn't send you? No, Lalo?
Who?
Oh, thank God. Oh, Christ. Oh, I thought... What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be discussing the character Lalo as we prepare for his introduction during Season 4 of Better Call Saul. With that being said, major warning of spoilers for everything in the show up to episode 406, and let's jump right into this. So, the Lalo character has been given a major tease all season, but it's taking forever to finally come to fruition. For those of you who may not be aware or need a refresher, Lalo is in regards to a few lines said by Saul Goodman while being dragged out in the desert by Walt and Jesse during Breaking Bad. Saul mentioned something being Ignacio's fault and not his, and then when Walt and Jesse act confused, Saul asks if Lalo sent them or not, so who is Ignacio, what did he do, and why would Lalo be sent after Saul for it? These are questions that fans have been speculating on for years now, especially the whole "it wasn't me, it was Ignacio" thing ever since Better Call Saul started, as the name Nacho is short for Ignacio. It was then later confirmed that Nacho's first name is indeed Ignacio, and that he is the Ignacio that Saul mentions in Breaking Bad. Not only that, but Jimmy's actor Bob Odenkirk wouldn't stop talking in interviews during Season 3, along with the leading up to Season 4, about how much he wanted to see that dialogue develop into an actual backstory. We've all figured that since Season 3, Nacho's attempt to switch Hector's pills would be his undoing as Lalo eventually gets involved in the mix, possibly catching on to him just as Gus did. I'm not sure if Gus would ever sell out Nacho or if Lalo would figure this out on his own, but Nacho is in a horrible spot right now, and we've been waiting for this Lalo character to make an appearance all season. So it was their first year of having a panel at SDCC, and it was quite an amazing panel by the way, but during this they showed a promo image of Lalo as a way to kinda show off the face of the character, as they were announcing that he was going to be played by the actor Tony Dalton. This promo image features Lalo meeting with the awoken Hector, along with a present on the table behind him. We originally knew that this was going to be at some point in Season 4, but it wasn't really until right before the season started that we found out this promo image is actually for episode 9 of this season. So we knew that Hector would wake up at some point and that he would be greeted by Lalo. Not only that, but it seems as though Lalo may have brought Hector the perfect gift considering his situation, the bell that he infamously dings during Breaking Bad. If you look at the promo image, Hector is sitting in a wheelchair, but he's only tapping his finger to indicate a response, just like in episode 407 during Hector's recovery treatments. The present that Lalo brought him is the exact size to fit the bell in it, so it would be crazy to see the moment that Hector is equipped with that freaking bell. It's kinda surprising that they'd even show this promo image from episode 9 before this season even started, instead of just having a different character portrait of Tony Dalton as Lalo, but they only released so many promo images per episode, so they probably just grabbed one quick. Now in episode 9, Lalo visits Hector and gives him a present, but that's not all. We also know more to speculate off of due to the synopsis descriptions for each episode. The synopsis for episode 8 states that Nacho receives a visitor, while the synopsis for episode 9 states that Nacho is forced to make the rounds with Lalo. So with that being said, I definitely assume that Nacho's visitor in episode 8 is Lalo, or at least someone that works for him. There's a promo image of Nacho from episode 8, and he appears to be in that same cafe that he usually collects money from. Now, the cousins are probably still down south, so who is there to even collect with Nacho? Is Nacho there all alone now? It's crazy to think about that because he was originally there with Tuco and Hector, but Tuco's in jail, Hector's in recovery, heck, Arturo is dead, like maybe Crazy 8 could be there with Nacho, but usually he's someone that Nacho collects from, so I'm not sure if Nacho is there alone or not, but I'm going to go ahead and predict that either Lalo's workers or Lalo himself will walk into the cafe and confront Nacho on the entire situation currently going on. Lalo is confirmed to be a Salamanca, not necessarily by blood, but a Salamanca nonetheless. So with that in mind, he's probably there to help back up Nacho, along with manage and secure the Salamanca business, since there's been so many issues lately. So, could Lalo possibly train Nacho in episode 9 to take over this position fully? Which would kinda suck because Nacho doesn't want to be in the game anymore, but as we know, that isn't really going too well for him, especially since Gus has him completely under his thumb. And then the synopsis for episode 10 states that Lalo tracks a loose end in Gus's operation. So speaking of Gus, what is this in regards to? Gus covered up Arturo's death pretty well by blaming it on that gang that the cousins just completely slaughtered, so I'm not sure if there's anything fishy for Lalo to poke his nose into. So is this referencing to maybe Gus's plan to construct the super lab, or is this in reference to the fact that Gus tricked Bolsa into believing that someone was onto their trade routes? I feel like it might be a continuation of that, as it caused Bolsa to cease all transportation of drugs across the border, as they instead sent out dummy loads to try and catch if anyone is onto them. Gus caused this because he could then further manipulate Bolsa into allowing Gus to buy and distribute drugs locally while they figure out this issue, along with the fact that Bolsa would go and straighten things out with Don Eladio, ensuring Gus that Eladio would be okay with it. Gus manipulated Bolsa by leading him on to believe that it was him who came up with the idea, when really it was Gus's plan all along. The reason why I believe Gus started full throttling the super lab construction is because his end goal is to expand his drug empire by producing and distributing meth right in Albuquerque. Now, Gus being allowed to buy and sell locally seems to be one of the first steps to Gus creating his empire completely independent to the cartel. Now, I've been waiting for Lalo all season, and at this point it's taken way too long to introduce him. I get it, they need to properly set up Nacho's situation with Gus, along with give Hector time to recover and wake up, and I guess it makes sense that Nacho would be MIA for a few episodes as he heals and lays low, but I was hoping that Lalo would take up a majority of Season 4's story, not just the end. As I said earlier, before Season 4 even came out, they teased that the whole story would be getting into the Lalo story arc, but at this point it seems as though they're just finally going to be introducing him at the end of the season. It feels like we're in too deep into the season to be suddenly introducing a new antagonist. I mean, anything can happen, right? But it's almost as if they're just going to introduce Lalo at the end of the season, along with setting him up for possibly the main issue during Season 5. If Lalo is going to be the main focus for Season 5, or at least the first half of it, will they be able to complete the show just after 5 or even 6 seasons? The show is still currently in 2003, with Breaking Bad happening in 2008, so we have so much ground to cover in such a small amount of time, considering each season only has 10 episodes as well. We still have so much more to go in order to line up with the Breaking Bad timeline, and yes, there can be time skips, but it just would seem a little bit awkward if they just skipped so many years like that. Will they be able to cram everything into the final season or two? First off, there's everything involving Jimmy and Kim, and then there's everything involving Mike fully evolving into a full-blown killer for hire, and then there's still the entire situation between Lalo and Nacho that still has to unfold, and then hopefully we get a bunch of new story as the Better Call Saul timeline eventually lines up alongside Breaking Bad, hopefully getting more scenes like the cold open from episode 405. Eventually, I'd like to see the entire show run alongside Breaking Bad as we see what Saul and other characters are up to behind the scenes, tying into the original Breaking Bad story, just like that 405 opening. Now, it seems as though they couldn't wait a season, so they brought this 405 opening to us early, but I hope that eventually the whole show will be in the Breaking Bad timeline. And then we'd hopefully see post-Breaking Bad as we get the continuation of the events after Walt's supposed demise, maybe hear about it from Gene's perspective, along with having more of the Gene scenes eventually resolved, as we need to conclude that timeline as well. So not only do we need to go through everything that happens during the Better Call Saul era, even when the prequel part of the show is wrapped up, there's tons of potential for the show during the Breaking Bad era, along with jumping forward with the Gene scene as well. Now, in a perfect world, I'd love a full 5 seasons of pre-Breaking Bad, followed by a Breaking Bad season and a Gene season, and even if they just did one season where, let's say, the first 5 episodes are during Breaking Bad, and then the second 5 episodes are in the Gene timeline, I'd be more than happy. What do you guys think, though? How long will the Lalo story arc go on for? Will that be the last big story arc of the prequel Breaking Bad era, or do we still have a lot more to explore with that? Will maybe Mike's decision to become a killer get wrapped into the season 4 finale, as the synopsis does say that Mike will have a hard decision to make. But yeah, I'm really curious how long this Lalo story arc will go on for, how much of it will bleed into season 5, and will it be the final sort of big story arc for the Better Call Saul pre-Breaking Bad era, or will there be more after that? Also, will they dedicate a full season to the whole Breaking Bad timeline parallel along with the whole post-Breaking Bad Gene scenes, or will they just kinda shoehorn it all in there at the end of the series? I personally hope that it doesn't get rushed in at the end, as there's so much potential for the story to unravel, but the question of how many seasons this show will conclude with is another discussion for another time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, as it really helps me out more than you can imagine getting my video out there for more people to see. Feel free to subscribe for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad content in the near future, and if you'd like to take that extra step helping support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon as well. Follow me on Twitter too, link to both of those in the description. I'm fairly active on Twitter even when I'm not posting videos, and I'm always retweeting everything I can involving both Better Call Saul and The Walking Dead. But anyways guys, as always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out!